Okay, bonjour. Your grammar points for today are on negation and questions. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start with how to ask questions in French, and then we're going to move on to how to form the negative in French. All right? So first of all, to ask questions in French, number one, okay, there's 4 different ways that you can ask questions in French, all right? So the first one is use the same wording as a statement, but with rising intonation. Okay, so this is the first way you can use rising intonation. So an example of that is I could say, okay, I could just say, you live in Bordeaux, right? You live in Bordeaux, it's a statement. Or I could say, tu habites à Bordeaux. I'm rising my intonation, okay, at the end. And rising your intonation is making that into a question, okay? Tu habites à Bordeaux? So by doing that, that is probably the easiest way in French to ask a question. You already have a statement, okay, and you just rise your intonation to make it a question. Second way is by placing est-ce que, okay, est-ce que, in front of a statement. These 2 double arrows are just the French's way of doing parentheses, okay? So I can just place est-ce que in front of any statement, all right? Using the last one as an example, if I said, instead of tu habites à Bordeaux, I could say, est-ce que tu habites à Bordeaux? All of a sudden, it's a question, okay? So let's do another example. If I wanted to say, you speak French, okay? It's just a statement. Vous parlez français? All right, you speak French. So the way to make this into a question is I could say, est-ce que vous parlez français? And est-ce que, like literally translated, is it that? Is it that you speak French? All right. Or I could say, he likes to draw. Il aime dessiner. In order to make it into a question, I just add est-ce que. Est-ce que. Okay. Now, keep in mind the reason why I'm changing QU to QUE to QU apostrophe is there's a vowel here, right? So French don't like vowels next to each other, so that's the reason why I fixed that. So now it's est-ce qu'il aime dessiner? Question mark. Okay. So this is our second way. Est-ce que. Okay. The third way is by placing a tag question at the end of a statement. All right, a tag question. And a tag question can come in a couple of different forms. Let's do our first one. And it's like, okay, all right? So if I wanted to say, we start in 2 hours, okay? Or they start in 2 hours, okay? That's a tag question. You're tagging it at the end of the statement. Okay, so in order to say that, it would be on commence à 2 heures. D'accord. So d'accord is just like, okay. And another way is we could say We're eating at noon, right? Okay, it's that tag question. We do this in English as well. So in French, it would be nous mangeons à midi, n'est-ce pas? N'est-ce pas means right. Okay. And the last way to ask a question is kind of a pain. So bear with me, all right? Technically, it is kind of easy, but for some reason, a lot of people do find this a little challenging. It's called inversion. All right, basically all you do is flip the subject and the verb, all right? It's that simple. So instead of me saying, you speak French, you speak French, I would flip these guys. And it would be vous, oops, it would be parlez-vous français, okay? It's inversion, all right? I've changed these two, I've changed their position. Now, this is where it gets a little funky because you know the French and their vowels, right? They're just not a fan. So when you do inversion, it kind of causes a little bit of a problem. Here is one of my examples for that. If I wanted to say, see, eat at noon, okay, if I wanted to change that, if I wanted to say, okay, instead of il mange à midi, if I wanted to make this into an inverted question, what I would have to do is I'm inverting, right? I'm still changing these two. But the problem it causes is mange il. You have two vowels next to each other. So what happens is you're going to have to actually add a T. Mange-t-il. So then it's mange-t-il à midi. Okay. So basically the rule of thumb here is that if it's il or elle or on, you need to add a T. All right? Now let me give you two special inverted forms. All right? The first one is il y a. Il y a means there is, there are. And his special inverted form is y a-t-il. I know that looks really funny. So then you're asking the question, are there, right? Another one is c'est, it is. Inverted form is S. Okay, again, a little weird. And then I'm just going to give you two little things really quickly because they're important and they're fun. Pourquoi is why, and because is parce que. Okay, so now you can officially annoy people in English. Pourquoi, parce que, right? Okay, now we are done, right? We have inversion. Basically, you're just flipping. Okay, so now let's move on to how to form the negation in French. And I will give you the formula to do this. To form the negative in French, what you do is you make a sandwich, okay? You have to make a sandwich. And in a normal sandwich, you have two pieces of bread and a piece of meat in the middle, right? Don't have some of those weird open-faced sandwiches. You need a normal sandwich. Okay, so I'm gonna have my one piece of bread here. And I'm gonna have my piece of meat. I'm gonna have my other piece of bread as well. Okay? And basically what this represents is this is your ne, this is your verb, and this is your pas. Okay? So if I want to say, I draw well, Je dessine bien. There you go. But what if I want to say, I don't draw well? Okay, and you guys, I know, can attest to that. So how would I say that? I would say je, and then ne, bread. My verb is dessine. And then you gotta finish the sandwich. Pas, bread. And then bien. Okay, so je ne dessine pas bien. All right, it's the same thing even whenever you do commands. If I'm commanding you to speak French in class, I would say, parlez français en cours. Okay, but if I'm saying don't speak at all in class, then ne, verb is parler. Don't forget your sandwich, your ne pas sandwich. And then en cours. Okay, don't speak in class. All right, we're going to do some more practice with this. Basically, you just have to remember that you need to have a complete sandwich. That means 2 pieces of bread and a piece of meat, which is your verb. All right, we'll do more practice. Please take good notes and ask me questions tomorrow. À demain.